4 minutes, Mr Kerr.
I think this is a very useful debate, and I'd like Willie Rennie's not in his place, but I'd like to believe that what we hear from the Deputy First Minister is a change of tone from the SNP government. I'm not entirely convinced, and I'm not convinced because it would require a change of policy, as Craig Hoy's saying from his seat. And I don't know if the SNP have got it in them to have a change of policy. And I'll give you an example, and it's the one we discussed yesterday, which frankly I maybe got over-emotional about in dealing with Minister Lockhead, and that is the failure of this government to be coherent in any sense in relation to the Rolls-Royce project that Scottish Enterprise vetoed. And that's an example of where I think the Scottish Government's rhetoric from Kate Forbes, who I think she knows I like her a great deal, but when I listen to her, she sounds very credible, but when you look behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, what you discover is it's the same old SNP with the same old negative anti-business rhetoric. I really enjoy Michelle Thompson, I think she knows that as well, and she's not representative, unfortunately, of the vast swathe of SNP MSPs, who are fundamentally hostile to the whole idea of wealth creation through enterprise and entrepreneurship. And so let me just comment on what Michelle Thompson did say, because she said some really important things, a very, very good speech. And she talked about risk, and I would like to marry that up with the complete equation, because it's about risk and reward. Yep. So people will take risks if they can see there's a chance that that risk will pay off in terms of reward. But what we've created in Scotland is an anti-reward culture. If you do really well in Scotland, you probably don't even stay in Scotland, and that is heartbreaking. And I think the SNP have got to ask themselves in government why it is, as was pointed out to them, that we've had this massive number, probably far too big a number, no, not probably, actually, far too big a number in terms of net migration into this country, and hardly any people, in proportional terms, come to Scotland. We've got to ask ourselves what it is that we have done in our country that puts people off from coming here and making a future here, even if you agree with having mass migration, which I don't. I give way.
Ben McPherson.
For taking the intervention. Year after year we see net migration to Scotland, and actually the figures for coming to Scotland are pretty similar to the north of England. So I do think it's unfair to characterise the Scottish migration position in the way that he has. But also, given that immigration policy is reserved, surely the policies of the Home Office play a role in the problem that he's identified.
Oh, the problem in the Home Office is there's been too much immigration, and one of the frustrations is, you see, I'm not a member of the Parliament for the North East of England, so I'm not particularly bothered about the North East of England. If I'm being completely frank about it, I'm partial towards Scotland, and I would look at what's happening in Scotland, and I think we have to take the lessons that are on offer from our actual experience of what's happened in recent years. And I want to mention also what Faisal Chowdhury talked about, because we can talk about migration. I know the Greens love to talk about mass migration, and other SNP MSPs do too. But what we should be talking about is our broken education system. I mean, we have got people in this country who are sitting doing nothing, or, and this is a bigger crime in many respects, massively underemployed, because we haven't got the skills economy correct. The SNP reached to cut these things. If you want an enterprise economy, if you want a growing economy, you don't cut budgets that relate to building education and skills. What you do, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about, you can dress it up in any kind of fancy language you like, we're talking about our people. We're talking about our people and their get up and go and their ideas and their energies and their creativity. And no country in the world is second to Scotland when it comes to our people. But this SNP government has reached to cut those vital skills and education programmes every time they can. And so what he had to say was absolutely right. I've run out of time. But I am grateful for the opportunity to have spoken. I hope Kate Forbes can lead the resistance within the SNP government to restore capitalism and enterprise to the vocabulary of government in this country.